we just arrived in the morning. We took an overnight bus from Pune to Hospet and then a rickshaw from Hospet to Hampi.
It took us around 10 to 11 hours in the sleep. It was a sleeper bus and it was super comfy. And from Hospet to Hampi, it took us around 25 minutes or so.
And we were super hungry, so the first thing we did was have a big breakfast. And then we arrived here
At Virupaksha Temple.
which is the most important temple in Hampi.
So we're starting from here and let's show them around.
Yes, let's go.
This is a Shiva temple which started as a small shrine in 7th century, and as time progressed it became this large temple complex till early 15th century. There are so many intricate sculptures and carvings of stories and subjects that depict the life back then. You can see here an elephant is helping a pregnant elephant deliver a baby. Each sculpture tells a story.
We also witnessed the pinhole camera phenomenon in action here. Look at this inverted image of the main entrance. How amazing it is, and that in those times architects made this. This Ranga Mandapa, built in the 15th century by King Krishnadevaraya, has paintings on its roof made with natural colors that are still vibrant to this date. At the entrance of every temple hall, you will find these awe-inspiring sculptures of mythical creatures called Yari. They have ears of a rabbit, trunk of an elephant, face and legs of a lion, body of a horse, and motifs of a peacock. How thoughtful and creative is all that?
Also meet Lakshmi, an elephant who has been living inside the temple since past 35 years. After the Virupaksha temple, we went to a nearby cafe to have lunch. On one side of the village, there are these tall boulders right next to which people actually live.
So we saw really interesting shapes in boulders here and Chaitanya wanted to draw but he forgot his Apple Pencil. But that didn't stop him, he is drawing it on his iPhone.
So I'm drawing these shapes that I'm seeing. I'm kind of noticing like shapes like these animals are chatting with each other. So I thought of why waste this moment and just repent having not brought it. So I'm just drawing on my iPhone.
In the evening, we went to Hemakuta Hill, which has a cluster of temples and other structures. It also offers amazing panoramic view of the entire place. This one is called Kadalekalu Ganesha Temple. We were there at the perfect time of the golden hour. The sunlight illuminated these carvings, giving them a golden look.
We then went to Saasivekaalu Ganesha Temple. By the way, all these places are nearby, so we walked everywhere.
Oh, just look at this sculpture. So small but really nice. Oh, beautiful. I think the most endearing part of this place is that all these beautiful structures are right next to these humongous boulders.
These grooves were made in the boulders back in those days to break the stones with minimal efforts. It was so peaceful. We just sat here watching the beautiful sunset.
After the sunset, we came down, just taking in the enormity of the granite rocks we were standing on. This is all just one big rock.
Just look at those humongous boulders. These are everywhere around Hampi.
And that was our first day.
Oh my god, it's not climbing.
It's day 2 and we had amazing breakfast with the view today.
And now we are heading to Vitthala Temple.
We rented this bike.
You want to check this bike out? It's a little scooter and it's really hard to drive it uphill. It barely has any kind of like power. So, but it's going to be fun. And the temple is 10 kilometers away.
Yeah. And we're gonna visit the famous stone chariot. So yes, let's go.
Let's go.
Along the way to the Vijayanagara temple, there are a lot of other monuments and so many small ruins. The road is super beautiful.
We took an electric vehicle to the temple. And by the way, in order to understand the historical and architectural significance of these places, it is a must to hire a guide here.
Behold and get mesmerized. Right at the front is the famous stone chariot of Hampi. Back in the day, the entire chariot was colored and we can still see it under its roof.
The sculptures on every pillar tell stories from the Ramayana and other epics. Even here we see Yadis, the mythological creatures we saw at the entrance of the Virupaksha Temple. Here you will also see the musical pillars, and they would use sandalwood sticks to play music on these back then. Hampi was a major trading hub. Here are some carvings of Mongols, Arabs, Portuguese, and Chinese horse traders in these markets. This shows the strong trading connections they had with these other communities.
These carvings are of dancers performing. The mandapa has beautifully crafted hooks at the top and bottom to tie curtains. We were mesmerized with all the intricate details. Everything here is extremely thoughtfully designed. The guide even showed us small sculpture that had different facets to it.
Lift kar rahe hai.
हाँ.
And this is a jumping frog.
हाँ.
And Shivalingam and Sheshanag head है.
हाँ.
And एक snake movement है. And जो हनुमान वायु में उड़ रहा जैसा tails.
हाँ.
Like it.
मस्त है ना?
Nice.
That's the Anjanadri hill on the other side of the Tungabhadra river.
After this, we got very hungry. We had a large South Indian thali which was flavorful, and the highlight was sabzi made of banana flour. It's a must try.
After fueling up, we continued our journey and went to visit the Royal Centre. First stop, Queen's Bathouse, where the royals would visit to bathe. This is a very big place and our first encounter with Indo-Islamic style of architecture in Hampi.
So we are now visiting Zanana Enclosure. We don't exactly know the pronunciation. And we're going to go see the Lotus Mahal.
Elephant stables.
This enclosure is basically an entire area with walls on all sides. And it has a lot of different separated monuments, separated places. Masta.
The guard's house is now a museum of sculptures from in and around Hampi. By the time you reach here, it is easy to feel overwhelmed with all the art you will see here. There is just so much of it, and all of it is very beautiful.
Can you hear those beautiful bird sounds? It's been super calming. We just went around and then found this bench. Just thought of chilling around here for a bit.
This Hazara temple is rightly called so given the huge number of sculptures on the walls. Here we can see walls covered with stories from Ramayana and scenes of celebrations of festivals. Then we went to check out the King's Audience Hall, which is part of the former Royal Palace. From there, we walked across different blocks that must have worked as administrative offices in those days. We also saw the black stone Pushkarani, which has been exquisitely constructed.
Check this out.
Lastly, we went to the Mahanavami Dibba, from where the royals would observe the festivities on special days. It is a beautiful structure with the front decorated with socio-cultural activities of those days. The royals would enter the platform from the back.
Check out all these places the pillars must have been in its heyday. This is the view the king must be having.
We wanted to catch the sunset again, so we left for Matanga Hill this time.
This climb is extremely steep, but still seems not too long. How's the view?
That's the Hemakuta hill where we were yesterday, and the Virupaksha Temple over there. We saw the sunset and then left before it got dark.
And then we did some shopping.
It has got this cute little diary. This is for my sister-in-law. She loves diaries. Hey, so it's day 3. We had amazing breakfast at the same place, Archana's, because we love the food and the view from there. And we are going to go to Kishkinda today, also known as Hippie Island, and we are going to stay there for 2 nights. But before going there, we thought of visiting this.
It's a Narasimha statue, which is supposed to be like 20 feet tall, and we couldn't miss it because it looks so cool, so cool. We just went around the statue and just marveled at its beauty. And apparently it's known as Lakshmi Narasimha and not Ugra Narasimha, apparently as in angered Narasimha. And a lot of parts of it are missing, say the arms and the Lakshmi statue that is supposed to be on its lap, it seems.
And the
roof of the temple itself is missing. But still, even with these things,
it's beautiful.
it is beautiful and it is towering. It's like 22 feet tall.
It's monolithic.
Just imagine that such a beautiful statue just carved out of one rock and has an amazing presence. So if you are visiting Hampi, definitely make out time to check this out.
Further down the road, we went to Old Market Place in front of the Sri Krishna temple. Next to it is another Pushkarani, and it is one of the most peaceful places in Hampi.
We then went to the Sri Krishna temple. The temple Shikhar here has a slightly different style of sculptures compared to what we had seen earlier in other temples. By the way, this thing you are seeing here is a huge donation box from those days.
We then went to the other side of the river where we stayed for 2 nights. Our stay in Hampi was extraordinary. We were overwhelmed by everything we saw. The hippie island where we were next is one of the most beautiful and laid-back places we have been to. We will be telling you more about it in our part 2 of Hampi experience. Do check that out too.